Hey honey bunches, it's Phoebe, thank you for clicking on the vid. I just made a cookbook and these are 3 recipes which would have made it in had I had a smidge more time. The dates to the cookbook are in the description box below, but the first recipe is for cheesy polenta chips. I am new to the world of polenta and I'm, as corny as it sounds, here to stay. It's so good when it's got lovely savoury flavour going on. It's really simple. The way I've been making it is 2 cups of vegetable stock or vegan chicken stock to a pot, and then 2 cups of unsweetened soy milk, although I think like unsweetened oat milk would also work, just a really creamy nut milk. Heat that up, get your stock cube disintegrating, and then when it's at like scalding point, which is just before boiling or bubbles appear, you want to sort of shake in the polenta. This is a cup of it, a cup to a litre. Just sort of sprinkle it in gradually and continually whisking so you don't get any lumps, and then like a corn porridge will form in like 3, 4, 5 minutes. It will get a bit splattery towards the end, but when it's quite thick, take it off the heat, and then it will set a bit, but that's fine. I added some vegan cheese, like some vegan cheddar, some nutritional yeast to help that cheesy flavour along, some vegan butter, although you could use olive oil or any sort of fat, minced garlic, lemon juice, and I think salt and pepper. Yes, and then I sort of submerged all the cheesy bits and butter to get them melting, but the cheese, knowing vegan cheese, it probably won't melt completely. That's fine, because when it's in the oven it will probably continue to do that job. Then you want to grab a tray lined with baking paper and spread the stuff in. You could do a tin, mine was sort of like an inch tall, like 3 centimetres. You could do it thinner than that depending on your chip size, but you know, chunky polenta chips aren't a bad thing. And to get the top smooth, I would just recommend wetting your spatula and sort of patting it. That's how I got it as flat as can be. Then I put it in the fridge to set. It sort of takes like 1 to 3 hours, 3 to be on the safe side. Or you know, do it the night before, and then just chop it into your desired chip size, and then grab a tray and sort of arrange them so they got a bit of space going on. As you can see, mine are pretty chunky. You can do yours whatever size you like. Then just brush a teensy bit of olive oil or any sort of oil on the top. Bang them in the oven. Halfway through, give them a flip, give them another brush of oil, and then return them. And I know this is yes, it is kind of like a lot of effort for a chip, but these are much more filling, much more delicious, and the savoury flavour is incredible. I think if you have like a little bit of vegan aioli, it's pretty widely available, and I would highly recommend having that on the side. It's crazy good. And in my cookbook there's like a savoury polenta creamy mushroom thyme type situation of a dish, and so I've sort of adapted that polenta element into the chips. Here is the link from the cookbook that I was going to extrapolate on, but this recipe's on the blog. On the vlog, wow. Okay, second recipe is for spinach lentil meatballs with pesto sauce. In the cookbook there's a recipe for Italian lentil meatballs. I really feel like I've honed the technique for these. You want to use green lentils, like these ones, and cook them according to packet instructions. And I just saw like a Pinterest idea for spinach meatballs with pesto sauce, and I thought, that sounds up my street. And I had a crack at them. First go, they were pretty delish, and I think the recipe's worth sharing. Pretty delish is an understatement. They were great. Rinse your lentils really well. A bit of like dredgy dirt stuff will come through, and let them sort of evaporate, dry off. You want them to be really dry before you blend them with the other ingredients in a food processor, because you don't want these babes to be too moist. And the spinach element, you need to handle that with least amount of moisture. We'll deal with it, you'll see. So I was just chopping up 2 onions there and sauteing them in a bit of garlic olive oil, or you could just use any sort of oil with a bit of garlic. And I was using frozen spinach, but you could use fresh, and you just want to wilt it. So that was it, defrosting in a bowl. To make sure these aren't too dry, you want to organise yourself some breadcrumbs. So I was just blitzing up some stale bread. Handy to do that before you add all the other lentil meatball ingredients. So we're ready to add all the other ingredients. So we've got our sauteed onion with a bit of a garlicky flair. Then I drained and really pressed out all the moisture from the spinach. I patted dry the lentils just to be sure. Added them, nutritional yeast, added some dill, dried dill or fresh would work, dried thyme, a pinch of nutmeg, and salt and pepper. And then you just want to blitz it up until it looks like, I don't know, green Play-Doh or something like that. Scrape down the sides of your food processor a couple of times to make sure it's all evenly jumbled. Woohoo! And then when you're rolling them, my tip would be to really squish them, like compact them as well as roll them, because you don't want them to fall apart. And my brother has made this recipe and then they fall apart and he wonders what he did wrong. So just make sure you like squeeze them in your palm or like your fist and then finish rolling them so they really are stuck together. Not that I think they're gonna disintegrate on you. You can see they're pretty sturdy units. Yeah, and then you just want to heat a bit of oil, brown them up after they've chilled in the fridge for like at least half an hour. I boiled some spaghetti to have with these. And then the sauce, I was getting really tired filming, so I didn't really film a lot of this, but it's basil pesto, lemon juice, walnuts, cannellini beans. There's probably something else in there. The whole thing's on the blog. It just makes a nice, like, thick, rich, creamy situation. Yum. If it's too thick, add a splash of the pasta cooking water. You could also blitz that again, not just stir it with a spatula. Oh dear. And then, I know that looks weird, the pasta had congealed and I was just heating enough up to take the photo and eat it. But you would do it with a whole packet of spaghetti and all the sauce you made. Anyway, yum, heaven. And if we're in the comfort food realm, it's nice to have like a green iron hit as well. So yeah, there's a lot of spinach in these guys, but you wouldn't know. They've got lots of herby flavours going on and like a really nice thick pesto sauce is heaven. Now the next recipe, honey bunches, is more of like an idea. I haven't put this recipe on the blog, wow, because it's pretty straightforward. It's a rusty omelet. Yes, there's no like egg elements, but actually when you add all the filling ingredients, you are kind of thinking, this is sort of rusty. I mean, this is sort of omelette-esque. Grate your potato and then rinse it, and it will sort of resemble, to me, it sort of transforms and feels like grated apple, like it gets sort of crisper. I can't really describe it. Anyway, put it in a tea towel, press out excess water, or just dry it with whatever means you want to do. Then organise your filling ingredients. I used onion, capsicum, broccoli and mushrooms, sauteed them up just before you get the rosti going because you want to set them aside. This sort of makes enough for two. Well, look, I'm not going to tell you quantities because it's pretty eyeball. It's a pretty eyeball type of recipe. Then press down enough that will form like a big rusty pancake, and then when it's looking super crisp on one side, like you can never have too much crispiness on a rosti, I think. Put down some vegan cheese and why am I saying quantities? Doesn't make sense. Sprinkle some of your filling ingredients, then flip over. Look, it won't be perfect, but it tastes flippin' amazing, so I'm including in this video anyway. But the chances that you'll get like a perfect flip happening, look, I commend you if you get close. And there is sort of an eggy note when like you get the hit of the cheese. Yeah, it was delicious. So I hope you enjoyed those 3 comfort food recipes, honey bunches. As I said, I just brought out a cookbook. These are ones that would have gone into it had I had a smidge more time to work on it. But I'm really proud of it, and all the deets are in the description box, and it's all on my Etsy. So thanks so much for watching, honey bunches. See you in the next video. Bye.